Good morning from Trafalgar Square, which for one day only has been transformed into a wild meadow as part of a campaign to reconnect us with nature. It's a cold start to the day for some of us. It's a frosty one, and we've got an east-west split in the weather. In the east it's going to be cloudier, in the west we'll see some sunshine.
Now, Carol is out and about this morning and she's in a much greener Trafalgar Square even. It's only 6:15 than we would normally
It's definitely
see.
not a Trafalgar Square. Morning, Carol. It looks gorgeous there.
It is, and Dan, put your teeth back in. But this morning it is lovely in Trafalgar Square, which for one day only it's been transformed into a wild meadow as part of a campaign to reconnect us with nature. And as you can see, we've got ferns, we've got foliage, we've got plants. These guys have been setting this up since 8 o'clock last night. And if you want to come down, you can do until 8 o'clock tonight, when it will be dismantled and everything will go to a good home. So it's all environmentally friendly.
I took my wife and one of her friends who not that much into snooker a few years ago. And
To the snooker,
and it was Peter Ebdon and Matthew Stevens, and it was the first frame that we sat through was the longest frame in Crucible history, and they both got told off for opening sweets.
Really? At least they weren't, already starting to
They got a
go.
bit bored.
Did they?
Yeah.
I'm saying nothing.
Good job. You had some supplies,
Yeah,
right?
always takes
always
supplies,
takes
John.
supplies.
Always takes snacks.
You really know how to trick Mrs. Walker, don't
Come on,
you?
watch an hour of snooker. Yeah, no one will win, just an hour of it. Come on. Now the weather with Carol.
Yeah, Carol's somewhere very pretty.
Fancy
Morning,
a date
Carol.
at the snooker, Carol?
Good morning, everybody, from Trafalgar Square, which for one day only has been transformed into this beautiful wild meadow as part of a campaign to reconnect us with nature. Now, it's known as the Big Rewild campaign to give a reflection of what London could look like if it was returned to nature. And it's full of potted plants. And if you come down here today, it's open till 8 o'clock. It's absolutely free to wander in and out of. You could be given one of these plants to take home with you, or a little piece of paper which contains lots of seeds for wildflowers, which you can then go and plant in your own garden. It's gorgeous, it's very tranquil. You could come here, sit down and just have your lunch and enjoy life. But it is a chilly start to the day, I must say. Temperatures here in London at the moment are 7.7 Celsius. Now, just before I go, Sal and Dan, I want to show you this watering can. Can you see that? This is for the one day it doesn't rain. Well, that's certainly not true at the moment because we badly need rain and there's no substantial rain on the horizon.
Oh, Carol, I tell you what, I've been telling Dan, actually, Carol, how lovely your garden is and how well you care for it. So it looks like you've got a little bit of work cut out there for the rest of the day.
Sal, my garden's like the Gobi Desert at the moment. I need to get out there and water it.
It's gorgeous.
Thank you, Carol. We'll see you a bit later on.
Thank you.
Carol will be back after 7 o'clock this morning.
Probably not going to the snooker with you, though.
No, I think she just ignored that.
That was a
entirely.
no, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's always an option, Carol.
It's time to get the weather, but Carol isn't in her usual place. Look where she is. She's in, that is Trafalgar Square, everybody. Looking really pretty.
It is indeed, Sal. Good morning, everyone. Trafalgar Square has been turned into a wild meadow for one day only, and it's all part of a campaign to reconnect us with nature. Now, it's known as the Big Rewild campaign to give a reflection of what London could look like if it was returned to nature. And you might find one of these transformations taking place in your community, because staggered over the next 6 to 8 weeks in Manchester, Lewisham, Port Talbot and also Edinburgh, they're going to do something very similar, and it is lovely. You can just wander in here. It's attracting all kinds of wildlife like bees, butterflies, that kind of thing, and rather attractive it is too. Nothing's holding back even the joy here this morning, because Ray Mears has arrived and he's caused a bit of a stir, and I know you're talking to him a wee bit later on in the programme.
That's right, he's here after 9 o'clock this morning. Thank you very much for the heads up, Carol.
Yeah. I wonder what Ray Mears is doing. Is he causing trouble? Can't imagine.
Probably just chatting to passers-by. Maybe like a bit of carving and, just fluffing up some plants.
Now, I should tell you where I am this morning. I'm in Trafalgar Square in London, which for one day only has been transformed into a wild meadow. It's part of a campaign to get us reconnected with nature. And as you can see, it's fabulous. You can wander in here, you can have a wee seat, you can have a Scooby snack whilst you're here as well. There's lots of plants, lots of foliage as well. And what the organisers are doing is giving away the plants as we go through the course of the day. So they're all in separate pots. and those that aren't giving away, that have been rented, will go back. So it's all been kept very much environmentally friendly and encouraging you to grow at home. And the other thing they have are these little seed cards. They're giving away these as well. And all you do, if you're given one, is pop it into the ground, cover it in soil, keep it watered, and then you can have wildflowers growing in your own garden. And Ray Mears is down here as well. He caused a bit of a stir actually earlier on when he arrived, because everybody was really pleased to see him, and he'll be on the programme a bit later as well. But the kind of plants you can expect: red robins, for example, campanula as well, and hebes. So you might well be lucky, as indeed we might be, before we leave Dan and Sal.
We were wondering, weren't we, about what happened to those plants?
Yes.
So good to know they're giving them away. Thank you very much for that, Carol. Carol's got the weather for us this morning. Good morning, Carol. She's in Trafalgar Square.
Where's she gone? There she is.
She's back.
No.
It looks lovely. Good morning, Carol.
Good morning. It is lovely in Trafalgar Square this morning, Dan. For one day only, it's been transformed into a wild meadow. And that's as part of a campaign to get us all reconnected with nature. Now, this time last night, at 8 o'clock last night, this wasn't here. They've worked all night to make it look like the established garden that it currently is. And each of these plants is planted in a separate pot, and they're giving them away throughout the course of the day. They're here till 8 o'clock tonight, as I mentioned. And if you don't want a plant, well, you can get a little card like this, a little seed card, and that has lots of wildflowers in it. You just put it in the ground, cover it with soil, and keep it watered. And they're aiming to give away about 3 million plants as we go through the course of today. A lot of them, of course, on that seed card. And if you can't come to London, there's going to be other transformations like this in other parts of the country. So in Edinburgh, for example, Port Talbot, Lewisham, and also Manchester, staggered over the next 6 to 8 weeks.